discuss problem 1 of 189 of the book Cracking the Coding Interview, and the problem is to check if a string has all any characters with the constraint that we cannot use any other external data structure. In the first video, when we discussed the same problem, we used an external data structure which was Boolean array, wherein we stored the information whether that when we passed a string, when we passed the input string, and for every character we stored the information that whether that character has existed earlier in the string or not. If it had existed earlier, then we returned false, and if it did not existed earlier, then we had saved it to be true, so that when the same character appears again in the string, we can return a false from it. That was the most optimized solution from space complexity aspect and time complexity aspect. But the same problem with a constraint that we cannot use any other data structure. So for this, the approach would be to compare each character with every other character in the string. To compare each character with every other character in the string. The time complexity for it will be big O of n square. Space complexity will be big O of n. It's a constant because we are not using any other external variable. We are just using an integer I and integer j. Let's go through the code. We'll start with index 0. We'll go until length minus 1. So the first loop will start from n and will go until I. The inner loop for integer j is equals to 0 and j less than str.length. Okay, so here one correction is there. We can write it as j is equals to I plus 1. So j will start with I and will go until L. So simple thing, if a string of I is equal to j, so let's say here we can see that I str of I is a str of j, then will return false, and if the entire code passes without returning false, then it will return as true. Time complexity big O of n square, we have two for loops, and the space complexity as we have discussed is big O of n.